Now, a big story after the game, because after they hit the back-to-back-to-back home runs, Judge takes center and Soto takes right, and then the right field bleacher creatures and some that aren't bleacher creatures, sign Soto now, whatever the case may be, they're chanting. And during the game, Paul and I couldn't understand what they were saying. I don't think a lot of people could, because they were saying different sorts of things, but we find out afterward that they were urging the Yankees to sign Soto, and that kind of makes me laugh. I understand the urgency to sign Soto. I understand that you want Soto to be signed. Soto does not want to sign now. He does not want to sign in the middle of the season. He's not even negotiating with the Yankees. And then I thought it was just a tad bit disingenuous by him to, when he was asked about it, he said, well, you got to ask Cashman. No. You don't have to ask Cashman. You have to ask Scott Boras. Well, you don't ask Cashman. It's not up to This is above Cashman.
Well, I don't think it's being disingenuous. I think it's being very genuine.
How?
Make me the highest paid player, and I'll stay.
But that's not up to Cashman.
Well, I mean,
and also, you will not negotiate now, so don't say talk to Cashman.
Well, I think he's the general manager, so I think.
Well, the thing would be to say talk to ownership. I mean, who's the one who took over the Aaron Judge contract? It was Hal while he was on vacation in Italy.
Well, I mean, that's just the captain literal man. I think that's just, I guess, who he figures that you're going to be talking to. I think the message he's trying to send out there, I'll sign if you give me the right money. If you make the right offer, then I'll sign.
But he wouldn't sign today if you made him the right offer. He wouldn't.
Well,
that's my point, though.
Well, because you don't know if it's the right offer until there are other people that can match or exceed.
Right. So, he should have said, again, you're right, I'm being captain literal, man. Well, everything will be done in due time at the end of the season. We're trying to win a championship. Don't say go talk to Cashman. That's not fair. It's not Cashman. This contract is above Cashman. This is going to be the largest contract in the history of baseball. It's going to be worth more than Ohtani's, because Ohtani's only worth $46 a year. And for those that keep saying, one thing that's bothered me about what people are saying, I think the Yankees are going to be hesitant to have any contract that's higher than Judge. Well, then say goodbye. You got no chance. If you're going to top yourself out at $40 million a year, that's it. He's gone.
And how? But hold on. In what world would Judge not understand that?
Sure, I think the Judge would understand it. But, again, people are, starting narratives or whatever, and I don't even know what kind of validity they're based in, but that can't be it. It's like when they talked about the Yamamoto thing, where you can't pay him more than Cole. Listen, contracts go up all the time for the biggest stars in the world. And if you're going to say, okay, our top limit is 36 for Cole and 40 for Judge, then that's it. Those are the last best players you're going to get, unless you somehow develop them in your own farm system. And then when it's time to sign them after 6 years as a free agent, you're going to lose them, because you can't cap it out at what Judge has. And I don't think Judge has the sort of ego where he would say, I've got to make the most money. I just don't see it.
Listen, is it a little awkward as Judge plays like the greatest baseball we've ever seen, that someone else could get a much bigger deal? Sure, maybe on some level. Guys, Juan Soto was born in 1998. All right? He's 6 years younger. There's just no way. Look at every single Michael. Look at every deal we see in every sport. This is what happens. You have to now re-up with every good player every 2 years to make sure they're the highest paid player on your team.
Hey, I think Judge wanted to get paid for his services. No question about it. That's why he tested free agency. But he probably could have gotten more and stayed. It wasn't all about the money with Judge. So if it's not all about the money with Judge, I don't think he'd have a problem with somebody being paid more than him. I think he wants to win a championship. He knows he's got a better chance of that with Soto here. However, I think if things were reversed, then I think you'd be onto something.
What do you mean?
If Soto was the established guy making the most money, he might have a problem with Judge making more than him. Because I do think Soto is about the money. Soto is going to go to the highest bidder. Can we all agree on that? If everything's equal, I think he'll stay with the Yankees because it's the New York Yankees. But he's got Scott Boras. He wants to go to the highest bidder because I think the money matters to him. I'm not being critical of him. I'm just calling it like it is. I think it's about the money. I think it was about money with Judge, but I also think it was about comfort, chance to win, legacy. I think a lot of things factored in because he probably could have gotten more someplace else but stayed with the Yankees.
He definitely would have gotten more. That's why what you're saying is true. It's not. I think he wanted a lot of money because he turned down a big offer before the season began, but he wanted to stay with the Yankees. You could have got more from the Padres. Definitely could have gotten more from the Giants.
Right. So, but I think if the roles were reversed, Michael, then I think Soto might have a problem being with the Judge coming in getting paid more because I do think that's how he keeps score. I don't think it's how Judge keeps score. I think Judge right now is very comfortable where he is. I think he wants to win a championship and knows he's got an easier chance to win a championship if Soto resigns. But I think that comment, yes, it should have been directed to Hal, not Cashman. So I think semantically he probably got it wrong. But I think ultimately he was being genuine because he's saying, hey, I like it here, but I'm going to go to the team that pays me the most money.
I'm sorry, Peter, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick, but in defense of Soto hasn't had the opportunity to really do that yet. I mean, Soto was a kid when he left Washington, right? And he had an opportunity to leave after already winning a World Series and go get a gigantic contract.
Well, he was offered a gigantic contract with the Nationals and still left.
Went even bigger. And I get that, but he did not have... His story at that point with Washington was not the same story as Judge's with the Yankees when he made his choice. And with all due respect to the Nationals, I enjoyed the World Series. It was great. It's not the same as being a Yankee. We can't pretend that it is either. So I hear what you're saying. It just feels like slightly unfair. I don't know that they've had the apples-to-apples experience to say that Soto would necessarily not make the same choice Judge made.
But I think he wants to get other bidders in, and I do agree that if everything is equal, he will stay with the Yankees. That would be the no-brainer. But, Michael, don't you get the sense that he's going to go to the team that pays him the most money?
I do, and I look at Yankee Twitter or Yankee X because people get excited, and I want to see what the thought is. And look at the way he's staying here for sure. Please, everybody, pump the brakes. He's going to go where they pay him the most. He just is. But there was something I was thinking as I was driving home from that game yesterday, and it alludes to what I was just talking about as well. Soto's having a magnificent season. Magnificent. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. But it is really dwarfed by what Aaron Judge is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So Judge is the alpha on this team. Soto is also an alpha. It's hard for alphas to coexist. In this case, they are. But if you're Soto and the money is somewhat equal and you could go somewhere and be what Aaron Judge is, does Judge's star and spotlight make you think about going somewhere else so you could have that same star and spotlight? Because I'm sorry, as long as Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge, he's the star of the Yankees. As great as Soto is, he's not the star on this team. Is that something that will impact him? I don't know the answer to that. I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't know. I don't know him well enough to know how it works. Now, he was the man in Washington. He had won a championship there post Bryce Harper.
Right.
And yet still wasn't enough money. He wanted to test it to get more. So there was a chance. I can understand the Nationals aren't the New York Yankees, but he would have been the man in Washington.
He would.
And have a ring. But he still was swayed by that contract offer. What was it, $440
Yeah, but the one thing I want to say about that contract, it was $440. So we throw $440 out there and we say, wow, look how much he turned down. It came out to $28 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Boras knew that was well under what he's worth. He's worth about $45 to $50 million a year.
Right, so it kind of got thrown out there like he really turned out something huge,
exactly.
But it wasn't that.
I mean, it was generational money, would have set him up for life. But again, we keep score by how do we compare with other people. Imagine if he's making 20, because just look at Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper signed this mega deal with the Phillies. And he's grossly underpaid.
Well, listen, the times change.
Yes,
even Judge is probably underpaid at this point, Michael.
He is.
But just based not just based on the way he's played, but how the money has gone. I mean, when at the time it seemed like a monster deal that Soto was offered, but that was before Judge got his deal, and then before Ohtani got his deal with the Dodgers. So obviously the money continues to go up. So that's where you really value a guy like Scott Boras who can read the tea leaves and see where things are going. But he didn't have a great year this year, Boras. His client is, but a lot of the other guys that he waited and promised big deals to, a lot of them didn't certainly pan out. So does that mean he's really going to try to go for it here to get the most? Is Soto going to try to get the most? So it worked out for him. He's going to get it from somewhere, Michael. But you're right. The love he's feeling from the fans, the chance of winning a championship, the chance to be able to be a forever player in the biggest city in North America. I don't know how much that moves the needle for him, Michael. I don't. And I don't know on the other side either. Will he have a problem with sharing the spotlight with Judge?
Not just sharing it, but being in the shadow. He can be in the shadow. As great as he is, he's not going to be Judge.
Here's what I would say to him. in trying to, if I'm the Yankees trying to win him over, listen, your light's going to be not shine as bright as Judge for now, but you're 6 years younger. Eventually, Judge is going to have to pass the baton to you right when you're in your prime. You're going to get your moment.
Right, you'll be in Monument Park.
Few years. You're going to get your few years post Aaron Judge where you can own this team and you can be the face of the franchise and you can change the narrative. Like, so it's not like they're going to be walking in lockstep till the end of their careers together. There is going to be a post Judge, and Juan Soto can really shine for half a decade beyond Aaron Judge.